Too many games! Too Many Games, I feel, is probably one of the best retro video game conventions in the country.
Too Many Games is, in a lot of ways, like a home base.
I like the con. It's really nice vibes, yeah.
We're here every year.
It's an interesting con. It's a good first experience.
I like conventions. I like buying stuff. I need more stickers for my guitars.
This is my first ever convention. I've never been to one and I wanted to try it.
They have a good arcade, there's a console free play area, you got tournaments, you have really good panels, and it's run by a very professional team.
How is the games? Is there too many of them?
This con feels feels comfy, it's familiar, it's like an old blanket, with a lot of strangers under it.
Games are good. You can quote me on that. Games is good.
Too Many Games has been going on for decades now. It's always been in Pennsylvania, but landed in Greater Philadelphia in 2011. According to the website's history section, the con has gone through an organic change from being retro game focused to a much broader nerd's paradise. Video games, trading cards, tabletop games, celebrity guests, it's all there. I had been interested in attending for years, but living in Reno, Nevada, the 2,600-mile journey carried with it intimidation, and would be something less simple than a day trip. That is, until I saw the 2024 catalog, where I had enough personal interest to finally pull the trigger. Before I knew it, I found myself in Pennsylvania with a couple of cameras and plenty of time. I spoke with a great deal of people while I was at the convention. Thankfully, because of that, my narration can take a back seat to let them lead the immersive tour you're about to take.
I started coming here in 2011, just to buy some games. I was doing YouTube back then on a show called Underbelly that was on Screw Attack. That's where I met James Rolfe and all that stuff back in the day. It's grown exponentially since I've been here, and this is the 20th year of Too Many Games. And it went from a 500 people show to a 25,000 people show in 20 years. Screenwave started a while ago, 2013, 14, and was a company that helped YouTubers make apps, hence Screenwave. And basically, Cinemassacre needed an app for videos back then before YouTube. Since then, we now have our brand RetroWare, where we mostly make indie games. You can see our booth right up front as well. So now, me personally, I mostly do the indie games as creative director at the company.
Too Many Games in general, for me, going back to even early days, I'd come here as a vendor even, with the stores I worked at. So for me, it's always kind of been this upstart, small convention that's now ballooned into this massive, it might be one of the biggest conventions on the East Coast, I guess, at this time. Almost gotten out of hand, but hey, it's cool to see. It's good to see this still happens. So, yeah. I decided one day that I just wanted to do YouTube, and we were kicking around ideas for the name, and it was just Spawn, and then Wave. It just kind of came together. It was really weird. I think we were playing Halo. I used to work at a video game store, and we would just kick around different stuff going on online, and we were kind of going back and forth between different websites, talking about things happening, and people were kind of unaware as to all the current news and stuff. So I thought, I used to watch G4 when I was younger, and before that I'd go on N64.com that turned into IGN.com, and it was just kind of getting all the information together and just sort of talking about it normally. At that time in my basement. I picked Yami Yugi because he was one of the first protagonists that I actually like saw and was like enamored by and everything too as well. When I also saw that this one was doing Dark Magician right over there, I said, you know what, I'll do Yami Yugi, and I was like, and I also want to make cool props and everything now. It was around this time last year that I was thinking of making it, and now that I have it, I'm going to wear it with pride.
Dark Magic Attack!
I'm kind of a Superman fan. I was looking for a cosplay to do. I like trying to do a new challenge each time. So I picked the most ridiculous design I could find in comics, and I went with it.
What made you decide to cosplay as Claire?
She's one of my favorite from Resident Evil, and I thought since her voice actor's going to be there, why not just dress as her character?
What did she think?
She loved it. She was like, your cosplay's awesome. She actually came around the table to come and get a look at me, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. All these cosplayers, I took so many awesome pictures with them. It's just a fun social event.
Why Bayonetta? You know, there's something very appealing about walking around in a cat seat and giant shoes. So, I have very long hair, as you can see. So really, I just Google searched characters I can cosplay who have long hair, and I was like, oh yeah, Bayonetta.
Who did you just meet?
Neil Newbon,
Okay, and who is that?
voice actor of Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3. He signed a pillow his brother gifted me for Christmas that says, "You're staring at me again." And it was very difficult for him to sign, but he really wanted to make sure it showed up. So
every single year, we love the guests that come. They always have an interesting selection of guests. They always have live shows. They do cosplay wrestling. They have lots of original art vendors, so it's everything I like.
Get to interact with sometimes your favorite Twitch streamers, just see them walking around, just a bunch of cool vendors and stuff. So I just enjoy coming here.
So who did you just meet?
Colleen. She's the voice of Tails. She's also many other voices. Too many to list off. But she is the voice of Tails in the games and in the movies. It's a great con. It's not the biggest con I've gone to. I have gone to New York Comic Con. A lot of great people for signatures and great people to meet at booths.
Dale was great because big wrestling fan and big fan of wrestling games. He reviewed every single wrestling game himself.
I guess you could say I'm a retro gaming influencer in a way. I've been doing YouTube videos about retro games for 16 years now, retro gaming podcast for over 10 years, and done a few books. I produce video game documentaries as well. The highlights of my collection, that's a tough question. I've a complete North American and European NES cartridge set. I own Nintendo World Championships cards, the gray and the gold ones. They're in a bank vault. For the Nintendo World Championships episode, I was friends with James already. We worked a little bit. We hung out a few times, and then I told him I had the opportunity to acquire the gold cartridge, and we both said we have to do a video about this now that we have the gold one. And so we started brainstorming ideas and started writing the script together, and yeah, that's basically how we planned it out.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, relax. Relax. It's just a video game.
For AVGN, it's one personal item to be signed. If it's wrapped and you need it to be unwrapped, please unwrap that now so we can at least try to get this line a little bit faster.
I did not talk with anyone about James Rolfe, known on the internet as the Angry Video Game Nerd, but he was a most welcome addition. I had already booked my trip before his attendance was announced. I didn't get a pan of the room, but his line was extensive, and contrary to his character of the nerd, James was all smiles and clearly just happy to be there. I absolutely love AVGN. As a key source of my filmmaking inspiration since 2007, I had to meet him and put a unique spin on our interaction. 1, 2, 3.
What were they thinking?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. James was celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie and made an event out of it, including a screening, showcasing some of the practical effects, and a heartfelt introduction.
So 20 years ago, I created this character called the Angry Video Game Nerd. It's
been my calling card since. I'm the nerd, and I love that. It's so awesome. And we've been celebrating that, the 20th, and then also it's the 10th year anniversary of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. So, yeah, I got the opportunity to make a film starring the character that I created, and also getting to collaborate with my two high school friends, Sean Keegan and Kevin Finn, who send their regards. They wish they could be here. They're on the West Coast right now. But we made this movie combining everything that we love. We got science fiction and comedy and the nerd character at the center of it all. And what can you say about something that's 10 years ago? You look back and you have all kinds of emotions with it. I remember it being a very stressful experience, a lot of heartache, but it's totally worth it looking back because I'm just amazed at what we accomplished. So when I look at the movie today, I'm just totally entertained and I'm just blown away by what we were able to do. People told us the script was impossible. You're gonna need millions and millions of dollars to do this. We went against every rule that they say for independent films. You're not supposed to make something as epic like that. Leave it to the major Hollywood films with $200 million budgets and everything. And we said, fuck that. We're gonna do this anyway. And that script made it to the screen. It happened.
Lying to me? Are you scared of me right now? Hey, can you call me that later? I'm playing a show. All right, I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. Where was I? Oh yeah, our name!
Psychostick started just as a weird high school nerd. Me and my buddy Josh, we met in German class, and we both loved video games and metal, and it just kind of eventually came up with the idea of starting a band. We went and saw Pantera and all these other bands. We're like, oh, we got to do that, but let's just make it funny, because it's just who we are naturally. So
we got a song for you. Because we like video games. And we like the video game series Mega Man. So we fixed the classic song. We haven't gotten sued. We probably will. I can't wait.
There's a band called Rawrb, and they were playing a bunch of conventions. And we were buddies with those guys. We're like, hey, how do we get into conventions? Because I think we would do pretty well. And then he introduced us, or a guy named Rustin, who sadly passed away, he introduced us to a lot of people in the convention world, including the Screenwave people. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 decades, but sometimes it really feels like it's been 2 decades. You can drive yourself crazy if you think about it too much. So we just kind of as long as we're laughing and having fun, it doesn't matter how much time passes. So that's the secret, I guess.
You know what? I could use more in my ears. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Okay.
Redvox started as I would say we were bored and we didn't play music in a while, Mike and myself.
I think me and Vinny had just wanted to play music. We were just, hobby musicians, still are.
and I had a lot more time because I was streaming more or less full time.
I killed the rat. Dixie Kong was in the rat. I grabbed Dixie Kong and threw her, and she died. This is a game about miracles. Here's a miracle. Here's a miracle right here.
This is the band of that YouTuber guy. Jabroni Mike.
We were like, well, why don't we jam again? Why don't we play music? It had been 5 years. So turns out we had some songs that we had never finished in the old band, and it started going really well. It was fun.
We had been in a band prior to that with a killer bass player, a really good friend of ours, and he, I think, had joined another band, and we were a little bit like in a space where we didn't know what we wanted to do musically. But I missed playing with Vin, honestly. I felt like I always really vibed with the way he writes songs and stuff like that.
Sometimes I get a song from a dream. Sometimes I get a song by just playing guitar at home watching TV. Sometimes I'll go for a walk and I'll hear a melody. And then once I have a decent seed of an idea, that's where the work comes in. And I work on lyrics, I work on arrangement. And then from there, the other guys in the band can help too.
A lot of our songs have started as jams. You know, we're just playing together and, oh, what's that? Oh, that was cool. Can you do that again? Type stuff, you know? And then what'll happen is usually after that jam, Vinny will come into the studio and he'll be like, oh, I've been thinking about this since we played it. But for me, coming up with drum parts, it'll usually end up being some version of what happened in said jam. I think as we got older and we got busier and stuff, that kind of more organic, kind of really collaborative, in the room together songwriting, does happen a lot less. So I'm gonna say the last couple albums had a lot more of Vinny comes in, he shows us a demo of something that he put together.
Another Light is most people's favorite, and I think it's a great album, and Legend of Zelda music. So I think it's a great album, and I think people are definitely right to think it's our best.
Made myself a little garden to grow myself my only friends. Got myself a brand new starter.
I gotta go with Another Light. I have a lot of really fond memories working on that particular album, and just the way it sounds. It's a standout for me. I think probably some of my favorite tracks are on that album.
Yeah, so I've never been to Reno, but the way some of my songs come about is I bring in a riff to the studio, right? And then David Byrne from Talking Heads talked about this, just say whatever, just sing whatever, so it's all about syllables.
Let me know back to Reno. Let me know back to Reno. Every day, get away.
I think I just started randomly singing Heading On Back to Reno because it sounded good. So that was a before Red Vox song that became a Red Vox song that then when I had this topic of, well, what does that mean, Heading On Back to Reno? It's a cool line, but what does it mean? It became kind of about addiction and also just a crazy bender that someone might have, in Vegas or outside of Reno. When I sing it, I get transported to this version of Reno that doesn't even exist in my head. So it's fun.
The energy was great, the band was great, everything was amazing. It's my first concert, so it was an experience to have. Yeah, first concert ever.
It was amazing. I was right in the front row, so I saw everything, and it was...
Oh, it was really fun, and I was really excited to come because, first time seeing Red Vox live. I missed it the first time that he performed. So I was just blown away. It was really amazing.
I do like Kerosene, but I also Ozymandias is a good one. You also have Scoot the Burbs. That's kind of a classic, right?
Atom Bomb was my first favorite, so like that one was right at the end too.
Clone Me, so I was happy it was the first song, and then I also like In the Garden, and then Atom Bomb, so I was also happy those were the closing.
I never dropped a drumstick. I'll do it now, all right?
The cool thing is, the name of the band came from a dream. So I saw it on like a poster in a dream. It was really weird, but that's how it started.
Which album stands out to you?
Well, the one that stands out is Blood Bagel, clearly.
Well.
Because Blood Bagel ends up being such an outlier in the catalog. But people still talk to me about it. People like it. And I like it too. There's some songs on there I enjoy.
What made you decide to start streaming in the first place?
I saw that people were streaming in the early days of like, they were playing games that they liked. There was no fame and fortune. It was just, when I was growing up, I watched my older cousin play video games. And then my younger cousins watched me play video games. So when I saw this is a thing you could do online and you can share your favorite games with people, I was like, I want to play Chrono Trigger and I want people to see why this game is so great. So I guess it came from the innate, like, this is just a weird part of my life that I had. And then when the technology became available, I said, yeah, let's do it. Again, no real way to make a buck. You know, and there's no money in the early days of streaming. But then it became, I mean, now people will start streaming for the pursuit of fame and fortune, which I can't even fault them for it, because some people blow up overnight.
Do you ever play any games off stream or for your
Yeah. I play a lot of games off stream. That was something that I had to come back to, because when you're streaming for so long, why do you want to play more games? But it turns out games are good. You can quote me on that. Games is good. So I have no problem playing games. I play a lot of, like I played that Death Must Die game, which is kind of like Vampire Survivors. A lot of Balatro, Slay the Spire. Games that are, you can just continue playing. Most of the stuff that I play is on stream. And then when I pre-record, it's because I just want to have a nice chill, get into the game kind of thing. Not worry about viewer numbers, not worry about chat members. Oh, where's the next game? Which they're mostly chill about that. But once in a while, I do play some boring ass games, so I get it. So here and there, I do a little bit of all. But I still love gaming, even if it is something of a job for me. If it ever became too much of a job and it lost its fun, I don't think I would want to do it. So, yeah.
Are there any people that you follow the way people follow you?
Yeah, I mean, Red Letter Media is the obvious one. I talk about them a lot. They're really easy to just leave on, and their videos loop, and I go back even like 8 years, and it's just some terrible movies that they're covering. I enjoy their videos, but I also have like, I watch a lot of weird, like people just walking through cities in 4K. I enjoy that. There's definitely other, I can't think of them on the spot, but Red Letter Media is the most obvious answer, and that's the one I follow the most.
If you had to quit streaming tomorrow and do something more traditional, what would you do?
Well, I did do video editing for a living. I did do filming. I did stuff with Photoshop. So I would look for jobs in that department. I enjoy the process. The problem is when you're editing for a living, it can start to feel so routine. So now when I edit, like for example, I did a video where I ate Hawaiian snacks.
Listen to the sound of those waves. The seabirds. The cosmic horror nightmare monsters.
That's what's going on here. I'm not a Hawaiian shirt guy. I'm really not. But I thought it would be fun, and I enjoyed editing that video. I enjoyed making the video, and when I do editing, it makes me feel productive. It's a fun process. So I would probably want to do that again, but hopefully I'll always be able to make music. And even if there's not much money involved, if I can do music plus something else, I'd be happy.
I would wanted to play with it. I think both of us had wanted to play with each other again and do that. And he showed me some stuff he was working on guitar, and I was like, oh, that's neat, it's... And, I mean, from there, it was just, we just did. We booked studio time, and we went and laid down some of the things we had been fooling around with in my parents' basement, pretty typical band stuff, early band stuff. And, and then that's when Joe got involved and all that, and then it just kind of, became a thing from there. TooManyGames is, in a lot of ways, like a home base for me and for Vinny and for the band and all that. We played here in 2016, and that was great, and that was a really nice memory for us. And we'd been wanting to do it again for a while, and we finally got to do it again. And this con feels feels comfy. It's familiar. It's like an old blanket,
In a nutshell, what is your songwriting process for the drums?
Well, you don't really write, Vinny comes in, he shows us a demo of something that he put together, and he'll be like, I want you to play this. Just tell me what to play. Which is nice in its own way. Like, it's nice being like coming up with your own... Oh.
Bad spot, I guess, huh?
All right. Whoops. Leave it in.
Yeah, you guys might want to move the doors a little. Okay, we're almost done.
Do you think you could use that, or? But I also like not having to think about it sometimes too. So both ways are cool,
Last question: how did you meet Vinny?
I met Vinny at college. We were in I think an English lit class together or something, and he, I think I was wearing a Nirvana shirt, like a Kurt Cobain shirt, and he was like, "Oh, cool band," and we had a chat about Nirvana, I guess, and then we started hanging out, and that was 2002, I want to say. Yeah, it's a long time to know somebody.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Ramen does something right now, actually.
Thank you for coming and wanting to check out our stuff and listening to it and enjoying it and all that and supporting the band, because it doesn't happen without you and viewers like you, etc., all that. So listeners, I guess in this case, but yeah. And let's not forget, I am also a content creator myself. Shameless self-plug. You're not going to use this.
Are you part of Vinesauce?
No.
He's real.
No, we don't. No.
That's a real name.
Okay.
No. I am my own thing, baby. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty independent in my own way at this point.
That's good. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.